Hello everyone, Eugene Segovia here with EZStudRack. Today we're going to go through a sample notch out in a sheetrock. Had a friend who did this, listened to one of my videos on how to notch out a sheetrock. Look up here and then you can click on that video if you want to go step by step. A lot of times your studs aren't exactly level. You can see down here that pink is a stud. So they cut, you see the line there, they cut it straight, looks really good. But that stud, as it goes up, it starts to follow the vertical line. So all this looks good here. I always recommend putting the EZStudRack all the way out here. And that way it looks really clean. But I can move the EZStudRack out, fill it up, or we can go in and try something else. This will cover any time you do a notch out. You clean it up and it might even look better. First of all, they did a great job. This has got this shutter. They used piano hinges, and the notch out here, you notice it's all kind of really rough. Let's see how we can fix this. So what we'll do is we're going to put a strip around here, all the way around, see if it'll clean it up. The first thing I recommend is get a tape measure and measure one side of this thing and then just do one cut. 12 3/8. Always have to have that piece of paper though and write it down because you're always going to forget. At least I do. So we have our sheet of paper with our dimension on it, tape measure, pencil, and now it's time to measure. 12 3/8. Line up the line. Now we got our piece. Double check the dimension. I cut it 13 3/8. Why? Because I'm an idiot. Always measure twice. There we go. 12 3/8. Now the reason I cut this straight, because we're going to cut this at a 45. Well, it's better to test fit it and then go in and cut that 45. Well, this sucks. The beauty about these videos is that you will learn from my mistakes. Let me show you what I did. So I cut this piece, but I have to make it at a 45. So now this piece is too short. All I can do is put a mark at the 12 3/8 and then cut it at a 45. But I gotta remember I gotta go out that way. So I'm back out here, but the piece that I messed up, can't even use this anymore. So I'll use that as a guide. I know it's the right length, 12 3/8. So this piece, I'm gonna mark 12 3/8 and know that it's gotta come out this way. Since we have our line and our mark already established which direction, that makes it easy. We just flip this guy. We got the piece we cut, and I just shoved it in there right now. I didn't glue it. Now it's time to cut the other 12 3/8. So what we're doing is we're just repeating the same thing. There we have it. Fix it as best as possible. There we go. Now we got to cut this long guy, so you won't be able to see the bottom of this. I'm actually going to put my foot there, step on it to keep it from coming up. 76 5/8. Here we go. So I measured it and I said 76 5/8. I come walking out, didn't write it down. I always have to have that piece of paper though and write it down because you're always going to forget. At least I do. And I'm wondering, was it 76 5/8? So guess what I got to do? Got to go back and measure again and write it down. Okay, I got it written down now. It was 76 5/8. I'm not going to take that chance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 76 5/8 and I'm physically going to write with a pencil the angle it needs to be. That way everything is clear. I can double check it and make sure I do not cut it wrong. So this we're going to have to cut and trim this way. In fact, I'm going to cut it and I'm going to do a test fit. Test, cut, test, cut, test. Since it is plastic, I like to cut slow, kind of melts it. It's hot. Be careful because it's hot. Okay, the miter's right, but I did not account for the thickness of this guy. So that's got to go in more. I'm going to go ahead and shorten this guy. This guy just to double check. These miters are a pain in the butt. Here we go again. We're trimming this little guy. This time I will not touch the end. Good. Grab this little test piece. See if I can shove it up to where it's falling. Looks like it'll work. We're going to continue and cut that long piece. Good news, I wrote down the dimension. So now we just go with the piece of paper. 76 and 5/8 according to my paperwork. I know it's got to go like this. So when it comes to the saw, I'll have to put it up there and cut it like that. So I've got this guy sitting down flat, and I'll put the blade up to it where it needs to be cut. Put my safety glasses on, and here we go. It's not quite there, so I'll move it over. Here we go. So we cut these pieces. This one goes in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and tape these up. Put this guy up here like this. And I'm just putting some tape in there just to keep it in place. Since we do have a little bit of distance here, I'm gonna just move it over like this. So when I glue it, it kind of looks much better. It looks like everything is straight. Now I gotta measure and write down the distance of the next piece I gotta cut. About 14 1/4. I need it to be at a 45 on one end and straight on the other. Now I'm gonna go ahead and mark the top one like this and straight, just to get by that piano hinge. And we'll go 14 3/8. Test fit, voila. And this one, perfect. So now all that's left to do is come in and glue all this in place. I'm using this clear. So what we'll do is we'll start with this long piece. This was supposed to be clear. Doesn't look very clear. Looks white to me. It'd be better to just hit the wall. I'm gonna just come down on the wall. Hope this thing dries clear. So here we go. Come in. Uh-oh. Well, let me clean that up. As you can see, we applied the glue underneath it. And once it's dry, we'll come in and clean it up. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the rest of it, and then we'll show the final results. Here's what we got. Just got it taped in, only using the glue. Once it dries clear, then we know we can take the tape off. First starts the piano hinge. So the goal next time is to come in, we'll cut that EZStudRack right here and then move it forward, clean that up. There we go, you have a recessed storage in the wall using a shutter to cover it all.